Hello, listening people.
Hello.
You're listening to Spit and Polish Presents Unappreciated Masterpieces. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Sliwinski.
Ding ding, correct. And I am Bartek.
Hello, Bartek. Ding ding.
Correct.
No, I didn't say correct. I just said ding ding. That's your last name.
Yeah, but you didn't say bum, so it's fine.
No, your last name's Bartek Ding Ding.
Bum,
His
wrong.
middle name is Bum Bum.
Bum, wrong.
That's your middle name, wrong. Bartek, wrong.
Bum, wrong.
Ding ding. Bartek, we are spit and Polish, likingly because we're always spitting, and yes, people at home, we are both Polish.
Ding ding, correct.
Ding ding, correct. And we are doing our show Unappreciated Masterpieces, in which we do an audio commentary track for a movie that seemingly doesn't deserve a commentary track, for a movie that not enough people are talking about, that not enough people are giving the praise and love that we think it deserves. These are the movies that society have overlooked, and we say, hey, that's not fair.
Yeah, when we say seemingly, we're talking about from your perspective, not ours.
Exactly.
We know that everything deserves a commentary.
Exactly. This is whatever movie we're covering in each episode is the best movie ever made. And you may ask yourself, well, guys, you've done over like 130 episodes of the show. Which is the best movie of them all? Well, every one of them.
I like Big Fat Liar, Thunderpants, Kangaroo Jack, and you just keep going.
Yeah, just keep doing list every episode ever.
Duplex, that's a good one. But you know what's also a good one? Major Pain. And you can't have Major Pain without Bubble Boy.
Yeah, exactly. It's great because Bubble Boy came after.
We did the episode before, maybe.
Yeah, oh, exactly. It all adds up, Bartek. What's the movie we're covering in this episode?
Yeah, not to bring down the house, but we've got a new film this time.
Okay, man of the house.
Yes. not the Chevy Chase one. Because apparently there are two Man of the Houses.
I'm not going to deny Chevy Chase.
There's a Chevy Chase and JTT film, apparently.
Now, which Chevy Chase role was he playing? Was he playing the Nothing But Trouble kind of Chevy Chase, or the Zoom kind of Chevy Chase?
I don't know, but when I uploaded it onto YouTube, I had to make sure to put the year in the title, just to be
Well, Bartek,
clear.
Tell us what year this movie came out, as well as its title, because I'm on the edge here.
I believe the film that we are doing this time is from 1993.
Our birth year.
Yes, not the guests who we'll introduce soon, but
I don't know. Could be their birth year.
no, I'm telling you, he's not.
I might deny you that. It could be a girl.
No, but I'm wrong.
Okay.
I'm ding ding correct.
I might be ding ding correct and you don't know it.
No, I'm ding ding correct because I said the one thing. It's
Well,
not.
okay, ding ding. What's the movie?
Ding ding. The film that we are doing this time is Stożko Głowy.
Okay, go again.
Stożko Głowy.
Głowy?
Głowy. Głowa means head.
Oh, well, I've narrowed it down. It could be Leatherheads with George Clooney. Great film.
How about
Not
use your
enough
heads
people.
with do it?
With what? Do it, head.
Yeah, use your head with do it.
Use your head with do it. So
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf the movie? Finally. We're doing Shia LaBeouf the movie.
Shit, over 130 episodes. We haven't had him yet, have we?
I don't think so.
Yeah. It's always weird when there's that one actor who's very well known, but you don't have him. Like, that was Mike Myers for a long time for me. At least.
Yeah, and, we still haven't had a Humphrey Bogart movie yet. I know,
Yeah.
right? Ugh, it's so unfortunate. But Bartek, I don't speak Polish, which is what you're saying. You're saying the title in Polish, I imagine?
Yes.
Or Hungarian, I don't
sorry,
know.
not yes. Ding ding correct.
Say yes in Polish.
Tak.
Okay, say ding ding in Polish.
Ding ding.
Okay. So Bartek, what's the title in English for this film, which has heads in the name?
The title of Stożko Głowy in its original language, Inglese, is Coneheads.
Okay. So is that what it translates into Polish?
I think this one's a more or less straight translation.
Okay, fair enough. You're not sure, but I'm sure that we're doing Coneheads from 1993, but we have to have a guest that was born in 1993, and according to you, we don't.
Yeah,
So,
we don't.
Rhys McKenzie, get the fuck out of my studio.
1994
We need a
boy.
1993 boy here.
Would it make any constellation?
If you were conceived in 1993? No, it doesn't.
It would make a constipation.
It would make an ejaculation.
Okay, what if
Emancipation
they
Proclamation.
maybe thought I was conceived in 93, but instead was born in March of 94.
Oh, that's nowhere near 1993.
Oh, yeah. I guess that means that I was conceived in 92 then.
Well, duh.
Yeah.
I could have, I would have been conceived very late into 92.
Yeah, because you were born in the ninth month,
the
right?
ninth
Yeah.
month.
The ninth
so,
month.
I'm the 5th month.
So there
I'm
you
the
go.
third
And that's assuming that I was on time. I could have
It
been.
wasn't like a New Year's Day miracle.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge.
Suddenly, Ryan, hi!
So suddenly, people at home that are listening to us talk about Rhys not being conceived at the right time, we have to ask you now. Could you please, pretty please, with sugar on top, have a copy of the movie? Because we're going to be watching the movie and doing the commentary track. We're going to talk about all the facets of this film. We're going to be delving into every nook and cranny of this amazing, masterful film that has so many layers, so many jokes, so many people, that you need to have some visual reference to go along with it. Because I'm going to do a countdown, I'm going to say play, and you're going to press play at the same time, and hopefully we'll be lined up as we talk about the majesty that is Coneheads with Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin.
And that's all.
And that's it.
No other cast members.
No other. It's actually a weird, like, duo movie where there's no one else. They're in a void. So get ready, because we're going to start this in 3, 2, 1, play.
Blast off.
So, gentlemen, I will have to ask the first question I usually ask, which is, what is our history with Coneheads? Rhys,
Yes.
what is your history?
This movie I've seen like 1,000 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was not expecting that. Like, last night
I was
messaged
surprised
Rhys.
you chose this film actually for this episode.
It's okay. I've often said that to myself with every movie I've chosen. I'm like, why did I choose this one? Everyone loves this.
Well, even in Major Pain, you were like, I'm surprised the guest chose this.
Is there like a committee that goes on your head, Ryan? That's just like, we declare that we are surprised at this. Wow.
Yes, because I said this last episode about Major Pain, is there's movies where I go, yes, definitely, this makes some logical sense. For some reason, my movie decided to restart itself, people, so we're apparently 7 seconds in again, for some magical reasoning.
It's not Coneheads as well.
It's no longer Coneheads?
It's Cody Banks.
Why are you doing this, Cody Banks?
It wants more commentary.
It wants more Cody. Okay, guys, we're doing our Agent Cody Banks episode. I'm sorry.
Where's Oliver?
Oliver. Okay, was he a 1993 kid?
He's 92, actually.
92.
Oh, well, fuck. We can't do the show, guys.
And he would have been conceived 91, because he's an
Okay,
April
I'm
boy.
trying to get my Coneheads to work again. For some reason. So sorry, people at home. We're going to be starting this from the beginning again. Hello, listening people.
Hello.
Ding,
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 ding, correct.
Ding-
Boom, boom.
Dinka dinka.
Dinka, dinka.
Although
That
Donald
sounds
Trump
like
like
a-
bing, bing, bong, bong.
Dinka Dinka sounds like a Crash Bandicoot villain.
Ding, dinka, dinga, ding, ding.
Yeah, Dinka Dinka.
Or Bing Bong from Inside
Okay,
Out.
guys, we're doing this again. Hopefully, we can get this working. I don't know what's going on. Maybe my computer just hates me today, but get ready because we're going to redo Coneheads in 3, 2, 1, play.
Blast off.
Rhys, what's your history with this film?
I've seen it 1,000 times.
So, Rhys, to
Yes.
answer your previous question, I do have this committee in my mind where there's ones where I go, yes, obviously,
Yes.
no, and then there are the ones where someone or something triggers this, either it's a suggestion from someone, or I kind of remember it and I go, what? People really think this about this? And I saw Coneheads has a 5.3 on IMDb, and I said, what the fuck? No one loves this movie. It's often touted in those SNL movies that are bad. And I just go, what the heck are you guys talking about? Like, people will stop dead in their tracks to talk about Wayne's World and Blues Brothers, but they won't talk about this? Devastating to
Yeah.
hear.
I mean, like, it's a well-made film, let's be honest with you. I mean, like, there's nothing much wrong with it. But I kind of get you. I don't, like, it does need to be addressed. As we are today.
As we are today. What about you, Bartek? I mean, I'm shocked that Rhys has seen a movie that we've done on the show like 1,000 times. This must be like one of those ones you know inside and out. Like, I feel really dumb. Last night I messaged him being like, yo, stick around for the credits to hear the song. But he's like, I know that song in and out.
I know that song, yeah.
Don't hone your cone alone.
You said that you saw a lot on TV, right?
Yeah, it was during the Foxtel days of the Rhys timeline, basically.
The Rhys continuum.
Yes, he watched this movie because this was like the only movie that was played like every day.
See, I didn't grow up with any of that, so I genuinely am like, my parents got this on DVD because they were like, oh, we liked this. We reference it all the time, and they did. In my childhood, they would reference this all the time. But
Like-
Bartek, you're the black sheep, right? You haven't seen this?
Yeah, I hadn't seen it.
Had you heard of it?
I think I might have heard the title somewhere, but I did not know the premise.
Mm.
And not to get ahead of our podcast, but we recently recorded the November episode of the Mystery Box, and I think you mentioned it in that episode.
I did.
But I cannot remember what it was, what the reason was. So
Oh, yeah.
I walked into it basically thinking it's got something to do with the thing that's going to release at the end of this month.
Okay. Sorry, that was a burp from me with agreement.
It's okay, yeah, it was your ding correct.
Ding ding burp.
It was the committee
So,
saying yes.
Bartek, I have seen this movie like Rhys a gajillion times. I'm looking at my computer just haywiring itself. It's still playing the movie. Good on you, boy.
Cody Banks?
Cody Banks? No, it's playing Coneheads. We're in the opening sequence in which they're crashing their spaceship because they forgot to turn on the cloaking device. Wearing the best outfits ever.
Where's Keith David?
Keith David's not here, I'm afraid.
Oh man.
There he is.
Oh.
He's a lamppost watching
I
them.
thought it was a girl.
No, he's a boy.
Damn Keith David.
So I've seen this movie a million times. My parents would often reference it during my childhood, you know, in joking ways like parental units and maintain low tones and you know, all those kind of vernacular that the Coneheads use. Because the premise, for those who are unaware, is Coneheads is from an SNL sketch in which it's about aliens with these giant cone-shaped heads that are pretending to be humans, living the human lifestyle, but obviously they've got their alienness about them, and the humor really does come from, in this film, the fact that everyone accepts them quite easily, and no one questions them except for Tom Arnold, who comes in and says, "What's with the head?" and Michael McKean as Guy from the Immigration, and that's the movie. And it's basically a prototype for Third Rock from the Sun, which the writers and cast, there's some cast members. Jane Curtin, who plays Primat, is the main woman, human woman in Third Rock from the Sun.
the love interest.
The love interest, who and obviously Third Rock from the Sun kind of plays around with different things where everyone kind of is annoyed by them and doesn't like them, but they look human. That's
Yeah.
the difference. Well, in this, it's kind of like funny because look at Kramer here. Might I add, a good portion of Seinfeld cast just rock up in this. But I love this scene where Kramer is just being so he's so fucking worried and terrified, but he's being so nonchalant about it. Like, well, I'm just new here, guy. I'm the day guy knows the area way more than while Beldar's talking absolute gibberish nonsense about like sci-fi techno parts and just this. His reaction, he turns it to see if he can read it if it was the other way around.
I just like the way they filled out the card. It's so like the handwriting is like kind of like what's that font you can get on Microsoft?
Wingdings.
Wingdings.
You mean dingdings?
Dingdings.
No, wingdings.
Wingdings.
Dingdings is
With
my
dingdings.
word.
What's it in Polish?
I don't know, wingdings. It's a
No,
font.
you have to say.
Wingdings.
Thank you. I was waiting for that. So,
Do we have subtitles for this, Ryan?
oh yeah, that's a good point.
I only just noticed now. I guess Cody Banks killed them or something.
Cody Banks killed the subtitle files. But one of my favorite jokes coming up is her reading the Gideon Bible and laughing maniacally.
Yeah.
And her laugh as well. Like, they've got this distorted laugh effect, unless Jane Curtin can genuinely laugh like that, which, honestly, would you be surprised? My computer just does not want to do these Conehead subtitles, guys. But, Bartek, tell us some of your thought process about entering into Coneheads, being completely oblivious to the understanding of it, because we understood before going in. But what about you? What was it like coming in fairly blind?
Well, definitely as it was as it was starting here, there was clearly a lot of jokes centered around, aliens are reacting to normal Earth things. So I figured that, okay, there will be a lot of gags centered around this in the film. I didn't know that it was based on an SNL sketch.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I'm not too familiar with SNL, but I did pick up that some of the people in this were like, oh, aren't these people well known for being SNL people?
Like Dan Aykroyd?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't until after I finished watching it that I got confirmation that this was one of the SNL films. And you know what? I was actually really enjoying it. It was a lot of fun. I'm very surprised that a lot of people do not like this, apparently. Roger Ebert, as surprised as we were last week when he gave Major Payne 3 out of 4 for being a great 90s comedy, he gave this a 1 out of 4 for apparently being a not-so-great 90s comedy. And his opinion there, it wasn't even like a funny review or anything like he usually does. We rag on him like, oh, this is irrelevant, but they're funny at least. This one, it was just more like, this doesn't work for me. It was better as like 10-second sketch or whatever it was in the 70s.
Fair enough. I mean,
it's a bit harsh, don't you think?
I think so. I think they put a lot of imagination and creativity, and this is where these things, we've mentioned this so much, particularly myself. Isn't it great to have a script?
Yes.
A comedy with a script. Characters have developments and arches and nuances. It's so great. I love the fact that Sinbad is almost as tall as Dan Aykroyd with a cone on his head because Sinbad is like 6'6".
Whatever happened to Sinbad?
Well, whatever happened to Sinbad was the last thing I saw him on was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia playing himself. But I think he just kind of stepped back. He was always a stand-up comedian, more so than an acting comedian.
Yeah.
He tried it out, and maybe it didn't work out for him. He maybe had one too many flops, like Jingle All the Way and this, probably. And he's the best part of Jingle All the Way. I know Bartek hasn't seen it, but he is. He's the best part. Oh, this gag, just... and it all comes out. What a beautiful... Mwah! But Bartek, you came in didn't know it was an SNL sketch, but and then you obviously quickly figured out what the story was kind of going to be, these aliens on Earth of situation.
I think when I saw that he was, when it cut to him being like a really good worker, I figured that this was going to be like it's a settlement on Earth kind of film.
Okay, fair enough. So here's another thing. It's Dan Aykroyd. You see, it's his the lead, and he wrote it too. We've done a Dan Aykroyd piece before on this, Nothing But Trouble.
His only directed credit.
Did you know that it was going to be fucking weird and creative?
Yeah, pretty much even not looking at the cover and seeing, what they look like with these pins on their head, or cones, sorry.
Yeah, that's right. They're not Pinhead.
Yeah, just hearing the way they talk and their monotone and their... sesquipedalian attitudes, it's very obvious that this is going to be a very weird kind of film.
Yeah.
Weird performances.
Here's Phil Hartman. Did you know that was Phil Hartman?
I knew he was in it, but I didn't know who he was.
That's him. He's Phil Hartman's Marlax, their superior, and I love that, the noise it makes when his head just leans forward. No, that's Phil Hartman, the great Phil Hartman. This movie has everyone. It has everyone.
Has a lot of people.
It has Ellen DeGeneres in one scene as the swimming coach. Yeah. It has everyone. It has so many people. It is ludicrous. Honestly, if we really wanted to be true to the movie, every second we would be pointing out who someone is and how cool it is they're in this. I mean, this has Adam Sandler rock up for a scene, and he's playing an Italian gangster type.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it's okay, and then obviously David Spade and Chris Farley are in this, which I find funny because obviously most people associate them as a duo, but in this movie they share no scenes together.
So you have to rely on Tommy Boy and Black Sheep specifically to see
and their SNL sketches.
And their SNL.
They are in the same scenes, but they don't really interact.
Are they? Well, yeah, they're only in one scene I can think of really together, which is
getting on the UFO.
The UFO at the end, and that's it. Oh, great visual there of the little cone head baby. Sinbad sniffing money as always. No, I love this movie. I think there's so many nuances. Everyone's in it. Who was because we couldn't list so many, but who was someone that it was surprising to see them rock up? Rhys, I know you've seen this 1,000 times, but rewatching it again, even myself, I've seen it 1,000 times. There was a few people that rocked up. I'm like, oh shit, they're in this.
I was surprised by I thought that Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin were the only original SNL members in this film. But in a scene we'll see later, the driver of the ship, he's also first season SNL. I was very happy he was in this film. I can't remember his name for the life of me. Maybe you can help me out here, Ryan.
Yeah, I know him. I think he's the guy who on SNL. I can't remember if it's the same guy, but there's this one guy on SNL who used to play the interpreter for the deaf. and he would just come on in a little bubble, and he would just, they did it on Family Guy even, there was a sketch with him, and he just comes on and, like, say Rhys is saying, I'm having a terrible time. He'll be in the bubble going, I'm having a terrible time! Because that's for deaf people, he just shouts it. That's how
so they can hear it,
yeah. Because he's an arsehole. I think it's him. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, because again, I'm not as familiar with SNL stuff. I mean, I've seen some of the best of things, like best of Steve Martin, best of Eddie Murphy, anniversary stuff. So I've seen Coneheads sketches. I said to Bartek in the Coneheads sketch originally, the seedling character was Steve Martin. And honestly, like, I love Michael McKean, but I could see Steve Martin being in this movie as the seedling character easy.
You know how surprising it is how many actors go through SNL to become these big famous actors, but you don't realize they were in SNL before. Like, I didn't know Eddie Murphy was in SNL.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough, but we say that as Australians, too, so we don't have... SNL seems like more of an institution in America. For us, it's something that we are aware of.
Yeah.
And we may see a sketch online or in the mainstream pop up, like, not enough cowbell, but, like, nothing much. So you thought the pilot of the Conehead ship was a nice little Easter egg surprise?
Yeah, like
cameo.
a nice SNL Easter egg, basically.
What about you, Bartek? Obviously coming in not knowing much of the SNL stuff like us, but not knowing it was really that much of an SNL project.
Yeah, not having SNL on my mind when I was watching this. Like, even in the Adam Sandler scene there, I was looking at Dan Aykroyd for the most part, and I was like, this guy, the guy giving him the new name kind of has a weird voice. And then eventually I look at him and was like, is that Adam Sandler? And it was like, oh, it is Adam Sandler. Okay. And it actually took me quite a while to realize that Seedling's...
Michael McKean.
Yeah, his subordinate was David
Spade.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, really? Because I'm used to David Spade from this period, from the 90s, being young David Spade. When I see him now, it's like, that's not... Oh, okay.
Yeah. So eventually I was like, this guy kind of sounds like David Spade. I'm like, wait a second, it is David Spade.
What noise did it... I think the David Spade noise he makes when he's chasing him onto the UFO, like when they're getting lifted up, and he's like, don't leave me. That's the noise I think David Spade. Like, that's the David Spade noise.
That's the typical David Spade, like...
I don't know if it was anything in particular, but I remember the moment that I realized it was him was when Seedling got the promotion over the phone.
Oh, right.
He was like, so what do we do about this case?
He's in the foreground.
Yeah.
Of the show. Okay, interesting. I love Seedling and Eli. They're great. I love this. All I'm hearing is clicking noises, and they're just like, clicky, clicky, clicky. And he's so offensive. So you were surprised by people like Adam Sandler and David Spade, more so of the fact it took you a while to realize it was them?
Yeah, well, that's a surprise in my book.
No, that's completely
correct.
I completely forgot Ellen DeGeneres was in this.
And she's not even SNL.
I didn't know she was in this at all until I read the IMDb
She's
trivia.
her diving coach.
Yeah, IMDb said she was coach.
Yeah, the coach, the diving coach is the same. But
I couldn't remember if that was related to the swimming or the fireworks scene.
This movie has everyone. I mean, Michael McKean, he was on SNL too, but a lot of people know him for This Is Spinal Tap and more recently Better Call Saul. I know him for this and This Is Spinal Tap and Better Call Saul and X-Files and whole numerous amount of things. I love Michael McKean. He's one of my favorite.
Speaking of like
actors.
This scene, like if you take notice of like
his wall when he wants to build?
Yeah, and like if they cross the wall, they have these collars attached to them and it burns them. Do you think that'll work in Donald Trump's mind today?
Dude, this movie has aged like a fine fucking wine because there's so many things in movies from this time period where it's like this was a fucking joke, but you look at the world today and you're like, remember when this idea was a joke?
And it's now becoming sort of a reality today.
Okay, since we're talking about Michael McKean and his Donald Trumpism stuff, I've got to raise my favorite scene in the entire movie. It's the one that makes me laugh the most. It is small, but I love it. My favorite scene is him on the boat with a bullhorn telling these these people who are trying to get into America via basically a metal bucket to turn back. We cannot fit you here. We are just basically giving them the rhetoric, and like they can't turn back. They're not in a boat. They're not in a ship. They're just in this boat with fucking nothing but their fucking livelihood in just this metal tin. My Coneheads is just wanting to skip around people at home. We're at I'm just flicking it around because it's just skipping forwards, backwards. I don't know what's happening with my computer
it's making me
today.
a bit nervous.
We're up to the dental scene, people at home.
What's the timestamp we're on?
We are 16 minutes and 41 seconds in 42 seconds. This is also one of my favorite scenes. Just John Lovitz rocking it.
And the special, like the practical effects that happen in this. It's freaky.
But my favorite scene in the movie is Michael McKean calmly telling people in this fucking lifeboat basically to turn back. Like they could turn back. This is a thing that's steered by currents.
Yeah,
drifting. And he's just like giving them that American rhetoric of, we can't fit you here. There's nothing we can do. We have problems of our own. That's my favorite scene. I fucking crack up every time.
I do remember in the scene we just saw before with the, people being lit on fire with the things around them. I did think at the time that was going to come back, but now I just realized, it was just a little gag at the beginning.
Well, it helped him get promoted. Helped him. I love this whole scene. Is perfect. And just John Lovitz doing the John Lovitz thing. It's like Kramer. They have to accept it.
Yeah.
They can't question it any further. The little noise he makes, he just accepts it. One of my favorite visual gags is when he has like the apparatus for him to breathe the nitrous oxide in, and his mouth is so wide open that he can't fit it in normally, so he has to turn it sideways and jam it in his mouth.
Yeah, the parts that were meant to be over the nose is just in the big wide open mouth.
So, Bartek, we'll talk about, there's many SNL alumni and just comedic actors in general that today we associate as legends or iconic and big. But I do have to ask that question. Was there any standout characters in this film for you?
Sort of along the same lines as Major Payne. I felt like it was very, the main character-driven kind of film. And everyone else, like all the big names that just are all over the place, just kind of supporting characters that just give really solid performances. So I don't really know if there was anyone like super stand out, but everyone just worked for me in this film. Yeah. Fair
enough. Like for me, Michael McKean steals it for me. I love Seedling. He's great. I love everything. I love that the whole idea of they're getting done by immigration. It's not like he's the military guy who's after them. He's the immigration guy. I love that. I love the comedy stylings of Michael McKean in general, where he always plays, like, everyone knows him for This Is Spinal Tap.
Yes.
But most of the time he plays these kind of guys, these guys in suits and government guys, like in X-Files and this, and in Better Call Saul he is a lawyer. And he always plays these corporate guys so well, because he genuinely looks like one.
He genuinely looks like he's going to come chase you for being an illegal immigrant, basically.
And look, I understand they couldn't get Steve Martin to reprise the role or do it differently, but they got someone equally as talented and as good. I mean, I've always said that Steve Martin and also Michael McKean look like accountants that have somehow become actors.
And they've played countless accountants.
Exactly, those kind of...
That was hard to say. Countless account.
I'm accountant. Gah, let me do your accounts. Gah.
Countless accounts.
That's scary.
But that's me. I love Michael McKean and David Spade. Their comedy stylings together. David Spade's such a fucking weasel. This is how I think David Spade should always be cast in movies. Like, I always hated in things...
The ultimate yes man.
The ultimate weasel. He's a Smithers. That's why he works so well in Just Shoot Me and stuff like this. But in TV shows like Rules of Engagement, he's supposed to be like your Quagmire type, and I just don't buy into
addict.
it. Yeah, but there's also that thing where they're aware that it's David Spade, so they can't be genuinely Quagmire about it. But I don't know. I like him as this kind of thing. What about you, Rhys? Was there any standout characters for you in this? Because this is a movie where it's called Characters the Movie.
For me, I have to agree with Bartek because the main character probably has the most character development.
Beldar?
Yeah, Beldar. Because towards the end of the film, like, you just think, like, he's definitely gonna just, like, turn his back on Earth.
What about Wayne Brady in this scene?
What? Wayne Brady?
You mean Drew Carey?
Where? Is Wayne Brady in...
No,
Oh,
he's being
I get it. Oh, yeah,
he's being
sorry.
a smartass.
And I fell for it.
You did. The only famous black comedian in this is Sinbad.
You're right, Oscar.
Yeah.
Oscar,
yes.
My mistake.
Hello, Oscar.
You're Ryan, not Oscar.
Hello, Oscar.
I was going to make a joke about this movie being so white, but then I got Ryan's name wrong.
You're so white, Bartek.
So you're a big fan of Beldar.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Beldar.
I mean, you got it. It's Dan Aykroyd. The thing is, we joke, but like a lot of people do now. Dan Aykroyd's fucking crazy in real life.
He is?
He believes that 9/11 like since 9/11 happened, aliens will never contact us because they're just embarrassed by us. He also,
What?
in his spare time, he made that Crystal Skull vodka that's really good. He's the kind of guy that made Blues Brothers 2000. I mean, let's not forget, he also made Nothing But Trouble, which is fucking insane, and I love him for it. Dan Aykroyd is the madman whose original script for the Blues Brothers was like fucking 900 pages long. His original vision for Ghostbusters was set in this dystopian future where they drove hover cars and Ghostbusters were just like a regular service, like an ambulance service. He's often the guy that people like, he has this imagination and John Landis is the key to all of his imagination coming true.
It's like, now listen, we can't make a 900-page script into a movie. You have to cut it down.
But I love Dan Aykroyd. He's the comedic glue in a lot of things because here's the thing, like in this he's off the chain somewhat, not as much as Nothing But Trouble, but the comedic stylings of Dan Aykroyd is often he plays a goofy but lovable, kind-hearted person. In this,
I've seen Christmas with the Cranks.
Yeah, well, he's not the lead, but like, you know, but even that, he's not supposed to, like, his character isn't actually villainous, like it is in the framing of the movie, but like, he's not supposed to be evil.
Yeah, he's meant to give the good message to people.
Yeah, exactly. And
This is my favorite scene, the birth scene.
Oh, really?
It is absolutely insanity.
I hate you, Beldar!
Like, I like how they get the sweat on the heads. Like, that's like
and
great
I like
spec.
when she flexes her head. You see all those
it's
muscles.
freaky. It's really freaky, and I can just imagine this to be like what birth is actually like. Just the females just start to form cone heads, basically.
And just look at him.
It's just disaster.
I like that he has his Adam's apple in his head, which then offers up the question of how does their head work?
What is the actual function of the Adam's apple?
Swallowing?
What?
Is it part of swallow? I know it's in the
swallowing.
neck.
Yeah.
Like
Adam's apple?
like it helps with the swallowing.
That's a part of your throat. So
like does it help like with like
I don't know, I think it's just more a pronounced feature in men, but I think it's there for swallowing aspects, right?
I guess it does move when you swallow, but I don't know, I've never really thought about it.
No, I find it quite weird that we have an Adam's apple. Like,
yeah, that's my one complaint about the human body that I have is the
well,
Adam's
no,
apple.
what's the point of it then? Like, why is it there?
It's the throat. Why do we have elbows?
Okay, we need elbows.
Look, Rhys, I'm curious.
We need throats. I don't know what you're
Look, Rhys,
saying.
I'm curious too, but I don't want to make a big deal out of it.
Well, no.
Sorry, I love that little gag there. No, taller. His head is this tall. He uses David Spade as a point of comparison. Oh, God. So your favourite scene is the birth scene. Interesting. Yeah, I can understand that. I'm very curious to know if Bartek has any standout moments.
That's Sinbad's last scene in the film, right?
Yeah, we no longer see Sinbad because they move away.
Yeah, I kind of missed the fact that he didn't have those two ex-bosses around.
But he could call upon them.
He was like his crew.
He could call upon them. He replaces them with Jason Alexander with hair.
I found that weird in this movie, like he had hair. I thought it was going to be like a gag that...
it is.
Oh, because he's
toupee.
because he's wearing a toupee. That's right.
That's the gag.
Yeah, he even mentions it at one point.
You see it visually when he scratches his head, and it's just so obvious. And then when Beldar blows on the piece from the lawnmower, he holds onto his head. And then later on, he has the whole, you don't have to be skinny up top. See my head? Not all of it's my real hair. It's hard to notice. And he's like, yes, from, like, aerial views. I did love the gag that Beldar, for disguise purposes, used a turban to disguise his head, but it still didn't work.
Yeah.
But Bartek, what about you? Any standout scenes? Anything that really was like, wow, or made you laugh in particular or something?
Again, so many scenes in this film are so strong. I know that there was one scene in particular that made me laugh, but I cannot remember what it was. I know that it was late in the film. When I see it, I think I'll point
when they're on
it
their
out.
home planet, or...
I think it was before. I cannot remember what it was.
Is it when they're talking about when they're Jehovah's Witnesses? That's a great scene.
That might have been it.
When they're talking about, like, in the Bible, it says this. It's like,
this is where I realized it was David Spade.
with the turban on. David Spade's
ironically.
most distinguishing feature is his effeminate hair. And you're like, take that away. I understand who
Like,
he
wait
is.
a second. I think this is David Spade.
Look, the American way. Fuck it. Give it to the next guy. I love how this bites him in the ass later. All these years later, it bites him in the ass.
This point specifically, when he was asking this question, I was like,
the Chico
David Spade.
case. Yeah. I do love, again, so many people are in this, but when Michael McKean gets called in by, his superiors, the guy asking him the questions is, I forget this actor's name, but he's always in Adam Sandler movies. He's in Anger Management as his lawyer friend, I want to say. I want to say it's his lawyer or his friend or something, but there's this one guy in these Adam Sandler movies, and he's always this, like, he's just this white guy, black hair, black slicked hair all the time, and I'm forgetting his name, but he's always comedic gold in everything ever.
I'm trying to think.
I always remember him in Anger Management as his shitty, I think it's his shitty lawyer. You know the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He's in this as, like, the guy who calls Michael McKean in and is like, yeah, you didn't do this case. And he's just a straight man in this, which is funny because usually he's the straight man who's actually really fucking nuts.
I like in these, home videos, the multiple camera angles.
Yeah.
It's like, where are all these cameras?
I also like the fact that the 3-year-old version of Connie, which is a great name to name your Conehead daughter, is Dan Aykroyd's daughter.
Yeah, I read it. Jesus. Yeah, I read the trivia.
I read the trivia too.
How she was really into the fact that he got to wear a cone head, so she wanted one for herself, and then she was cast as the daughter in the film.
Yeah. It was an emotional moment for everyone involved. But yeah, Coneheads, an emotional experience for every single human involved. Jason Alexander, weird to see him with hair, even though it's a toupee.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Jason Alexander, because you know how he found out he was bald?
How?
Well, he had braces for most of his teenage years, so he felt really uncool the whole time, like these big braces. There he got his braces off. Noticed on the back of his head, nickel-shaped bald mark, like a bald mark in the size of a nickel. And there he got his braces off, he realized he was going bald.
So as soon as one problem is solved, another one began for Mr. Alexander.
Yeah, that's his life.
I remember back when we did The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, it took me a long time to realize
That was him?
that he was in the film. Yeah, and I remember in this film, it didn't take me as
He
long.
used his real voice.
Yeah, but also he was like it wasn't too much of a long shot, but it was a bit further away from the frame. So I'm like, I think I know who this is. But it took me a second.
Their language. What did you think about the way they speak?
I like the way they speak, and I like the way they eat. Like, it's always in so much copious amounts.
I just love the mise-en-scene of how many things they put in, like, cone-like shapes. Like, the way they stack the pancakes as much. Or when she had the money, and she had, like, twisted the money into this kind of, like, to a point.
Yeah, that's good.
Everything's kind of, like, going to this pyramid apex point. I even saw in the background, I don't know if we'll see it again, but they had a cushion that they've cut to be a pointed shape even more. It's crazy stuff. Like, obviously, look at the door. It's obviously, a point, like...
It's pointy.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's got a test with her cone.
There's on scene again. Look at the cupboard.
Yep.
It's so much.
Yeah, there's
I
so
want
many
a house
things.
like this, Ryan. I would love to have a house.
Ryan, give him a house like this.
Okay, fine. I'll have to get a job as a driving instructor.
And
that affords this house.
Yeah, to also answer your question, I do love the way they speak, and I love the way that they've clearly nailed all these lines.
Yeah, and you could understand what certain words mean without them having to explain it, like mebs. Mebs is their swear word. Like, they always are saying, like, when they're in trouble, mebs, mebs, mebs!
You know, and you understand that's like fuck or shit. Like, that's the equivalent of a profanity.
Can we swear on Spin Polish?
No, you fuckhead.
Oh.
We haven't fucking sworn at you
Rhys.
before in episodes.
Rhys, you can't swear on this show.
I do love this whole interaction between him and her. Just like, it's such a Jason Alex. This is just George if he had a wife that lived.
It's like in real life. Jason, I told you to get that thing repaired.
I love
And
that.
then Jason's like, nah.
And both times we've seen him on Spin Polish, he's had a love interest.
He has. This time at least he's married to his love interest.
What is it?
so all
In
adds
Rocky
up.
and Bullwinkle, it was Boris and Natasha.
Natasha.
What was it? And this one is,
Well,
it's
forgetting her name, it's Lisa. Lisa.
Lisa.
I love this. You're being nice. Yes. Can we talk about Primat and how great Jane Curtin is as her? She has so many funny lines in this that fly under the radar. Like, one of the best lines, I think, in the entire movie is hers, which is, to Connie, I read in a magazine that you can talk to me about it. And she really keeps up being the alien thing more than Dan Aykroyd does. Like she really never becomes more human. He does.
Yeah, I think it's because Dan Aykroyd has to interact with humans a bit more than she does.
But you have to praise that. Like, unless the movie, they would have both have slightly changed. But even when she's on the Conehead planet watching her husband Narf with the Garthok, she's still vibing with the rest of the Coneheads.
And I also, and this is like a smaller point, like obviously they do this, but I do like that they had this whole realistic idea that the daughter, you know, speaks the way human girls do.
Yeah.
Like, her first line when she walked in was, you know, hello parental units.
But she said it in this way. where
Yeah,
it's
but
like-
so it was like, wait, is she gonna speak like them, or is she just like gonna speak like human person, like she would, but still use their vernacular? And
Here's the
stuff like
thing. You know, as someone who comes from like a bilingual background, you speak a certain way to your family in comparison to the way you speak to the rest of the world.
that.
and
There are
your
some
friends.
family members where I put on a bit of an accent. Yeah.
Yeah, and you speak Polish in your household, well, more so than you necessarily like would with us, because we don't speak Polish. Like, you know, like, this is the thing where it's like this is an analogy for a family that are obviously like migrated from somewhere else and
Absolutely,
have to adapt
yeah,
to this lifestyle.
I totally know. So, yeah.
So you're Connie, what is what I'm saying.
I guess, yeah.
And Rhys is Ronnie.
I'm Ronnie. What?
Yeah, because you're the ultimate fuckboy.
What? Okay, I
About
have skills in fixing a car. I'm also Chris Farley. I guess it is awesome,
You're
actually.
dead, are you?
Well, no. Ronnie's not dead.
No, that's true.
You're good in Billy Madison, Rhys.
Oh, thanks.
That's so funny. Like, a lot of people our age remember him more so in Billy Madison than Tommy Boy or Black Sheep, which is when he actually gets to be the lead and act in things.
I'm afraid I'm one of those people, yeah.
Honestly, like, Billy Madison, he's fine. It's one of those ones that's like, I reckon anyone could have played it, because the thing about Chris Farley, now we're getting into the Chris Farley conversation, I love with Chris, and obviously you have this in Billy Madison, but I love with Chris Farley, you have this chaotic, nervous energy that just emanates off of him. I don't know if you watched it, Bartek, but last night I sent you a video of one of Chris Farley's sketches, which was Matt Foley, motivational speaker,
Yeah.
in which he's a motivational speaker, and, you know, he's talking to David Spade and Christina Applegate and all of that, and he had this such chaotic, nervous energy. Oh, here he is, this guy.
Kevin Nealon.
Kevin Nealon. He's always in everything with Adam Sandler and the SNL guys, and he's always great. And this, he's playing the straight guy, but, like, just want to give a shout out, because he always gives me a smile whenever I see him in a movie. He's always like, oh, you know, weird shit's gonna happen, because he's always like that weird. He looks like just a normal guy, but he has some of the funniest lines, but not in this movie, unfortunately. But Chris Farley always had the chaotic, nervous, anxiety-filled energy. It always makes you wonder what his Shrek would have been like.
Well, then they released audio files.
Yeah, and it sounds good. You could see how it would have panned out. I honestly think the world in which he did Shrek, it still would have turned out a big success. Because, yeah, Mike Myers is great as Shrek, obviously, with his Scottish accent and stuff, but I feel like Chris Farley had this anxiety to his voice that would lend to the Shrek character, because he also had a gruffness, too, but, like, the Shrek character is filled with anxiety and self-doubt, and Chris Farley had that in his voice, and in this movie, he's anxious. He's also really uber-confident as well, like, he's a paradox of a guy, his characters, as well as the man.
Definitely enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, very, very energetic.
You know, you could take a drink every time Chris Farley bobs his head. That's just like a physical characteristic he does in every role. Is he just does this cocky bobbing head movement. You'll notice it once you start watching, because he's always like doing this bobbing head thing.
I think it's his thing, like his tick.
His quagmire tick.
Can we talk about another great gag, which is this one where she eats a whole sub very quickly, and he just retorts like, the only other woman I've seen about his mum is his mother. The idea that his mother can eat as fast as she can.
You know, there was
great.
a story that Sandler had, like, they would take the guest out for Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And every time they go out with Farley, he would like ask about a couple of things on the menu.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd have 2 of everything.
Yeah, yeah. He was insane. There was one story I heard where I think it was like when they were first meeting, they got super hammered. And he just was this, he got naked and he was just screaming and he was just like, see, it's funny now to hear because we know who Chris Farley is and he's like a celebrity. So it's kind of funny, but at the time, he was this just nobody fat guy naked screaming.
Can you imagine that, having Chris Farley absolutely shit-faced and naked on the table?
I would love that.
I mean, it'd be funny now because it's Chris Farley.
Can we talk about the other great moment of this movie when she first sees an egg?
The only other one, yeah.
Oh, the noise she makes, I love it. Like, she does it in the latest scene, too.
Oh, she does it many times, but
Yeah.
I love, you know what my favorite bit of this is, Bartek? It's not the noise. It's the fact that she holds it to her chest like it's a child, the remainder of the shots. Did you notice that? Like, I love
Yeah.
that. She just, like, cuddles it like it's one of her own.
It's coming soon. The noise is coming soon. And then
She goes full out for this. Jane Kern's one of those comedic actresses that not enough people recognize for how great she
needs to be in more films, let's be honest.
I love that she's just holding it and smiling. Oh, here she is, Jane Hooks. Everyone's in this. Everyone's in this. I mean, she's great. She was in Third Rock from the Sun, played a very similar character who was in love with French Stewart's character.
Oh, yeah.
Just, I guess her roles and things was a human who's not aware that they're an alien but wants to fuck them.
Also, Ryan, you know who else is in the scene?
I don't know who.
The driving instructor is actually Dan Aykroyd.
Are you sure it's not Peter Aykroyd?
Yeah, when I was watching, I thought it was Wayne Brady, but actually,
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd.
Dean Aykroyd.
Dean Aykroyd? Dean, guys, it's me, Dean Aykroyd.
Right, no one's gonna get that.
I got it.
I didn't get it.
It's me, Dean Aykroyd, and I like to. My name's Dickie Dean Aykroyd.
Ryan just doubling down on this thing no one except us knows.
I know it, so it's alright. I knew a guy called Dean, and that's the extent everyone needs to know.
Really?
So, Bartek, this is one of these stories in which, you know, we talked about this is aliens adapting to human society, but the trick is they don't actually adapt too much. They're just kind of really firm in their ways, and the rest of the world accepts that.
Yeah.
What did you think of that approach to this? Because it's so easy that they could have done the third... I don't know if you've ever watched Third Rock from the Sun, but they could have done the Third Rock from the Sun approach where they have to adapt to the human way.
I think that just
Lends itself to way more humorous situations.
because it gives them something to do more than just like, what? That's weird, huh? Isn't this weird? Like, you know, this is definitely funnier conceptually than that. Like there's that one guy that's like
Laughs at their heads.
Tom Allen or...
Yeah, Tom Arnold, yeah.
Tom Allen.
No, Tom Arnold.
I thought I said Tom
Can you
Allen.
listen with your ears?
I've got headphones on. I can't listen with my ears. I listen with...
We can't listen with his ears.
no, they're covering his ears, Ryan.
Yes, so I must listen.
Obviously.
They're actually absorbing his ears, so he can do it. But you were
Actually-
saying?
I pretty much made the point. Yeah, this lends itself to way more comedy.
Now, I will ask you this. Did you notice straight away that's what they were doing? Or was it really highlighted with a scene like Tom Arnold, where he's the only person in the movie that really has a big deal about their alien heads?
Oh no, I only just thought of that now. The whole thing, pretty much, because we start off with them,
Yeah, with Kramer, and he's still weirded out, but then
in the context of the whole film,
we can just kind of conclude that Kramer's just a weird guy in this film.
Oh, okay, I guess. I mean, I thought of it as he works at this sleazy motel, so he sees a lot of weird shit. I didn't think he was...
I feel like if he sees a lot of weird shit though, then he'd be unfazed.
But he's new.
Yeah, I guess he is.
So he doesn't see a lot of weird shit.
So I think in his brain, he's like, I guess this is a regular...
But again, that's the point I'm making. Like it's unusual to him, but it's taken as normal to everyone else. So in that, then you have the cut where he's working for Sinbad, and there he's being treated as just like a normal guy, but just really good worker. So it's only there that I realized, like, okay, this is going to be this kind of film, and I was really looking forward to that.
Oh, excellent. You know, I'm so happy that this film... You know, it could have done the whole, like, oh my god, we have to do things to hide that we're aliens, and a lot of humor could have derived from the, oh my god, what's with their fucking heads, and all this kind of stuff, and, you know, you could have had the daughter be way more bratty and annoying, or you know, you could have had her be the central character. Like, I love the fact that they focus this on Velda. They could have done the thing where, you know, a lot of movies do this, where you have a weird premise, but you focus on the child as the main character. And Third Rock does the focus on the adult character thing too. They could have focused on Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Yeah.
but they focused on John Lithgow. But like, I appreciate that. Like, this could have been a teen direct. Like, this could have been aimed towards teens and have her as this main character and have to deal with being an alien girl who's socially outcast from the girls at school because she's got a cone for her head and oh, daddy, why, all that kind of stuff. Like, You know, it could have that, and her relationship with Chris Farley could have been the central thing of the movie, but it's not. It's about Beldar.
Not a bad idea, but it's been done before. Whereas this is, I feel, a bit more original than that. Yeah.
I love this whole speech it gives him, but I personally love later when I love this. Thank you. Again, it's that Chris Farley delivery with that croaky voice. It's that croaky.
And the swear word is flandlap.
Flendup. Flendup. It's not a swear word. It's more just it's a word for cad.
Cad.
Yeah, that's what they describe it. They say what a flerndep is. It's like, you know, an unwanted suitor, a man who's out for pussy.
Never heard of that. I've never.
What, cad?
Yeah.
He's never heard the phrase cad.
I have, but I don't think about it much, I guess.
It applies to certain things, I guess. I mean, people of Golden Age Hollywood, like Cary Grant, was a cad. You know, but like, yeah, cad. It's a phrase for, you know, your quagmire, I guess, a gigolo, something or other, you know.
Thank you.
But yeah, I always thought it was pronounced flendep. But then after watching it again, they've pronounced it like flendep. But don't you like how she cries green tears? I never noticed that until last night's watch. She had green tears, and then if you look at her pillow, she has a green stain.
Oh.
Because her tears are green.
Oh, stain. I don't really.
Oh, you missed it earlier. It was in the opening of the scene. She had this green streak
it
down
was
her
snot.
face. No. From her eyes, yeah, I guess. But no, it's green tears. Because it's more of that alien factor.
Well, Ryan, to answer your question, since I didn't notice it, I guess I don't like it.
Okay.
Oh,
I
well.
don't have a choice. I can't like it if I didn't notice it.
But yeah, you got to appreciate movies like this where they just say, no, we're not going to fucking be pandering towards these teenagers that want this soppy romance bullshit that will age like fucking milk. Like, no, this isn't a teen drama high school thing. It's just there's the tear stains, but like no, it's about the Coneheads in general. But Beldar is your main focus, and he does go through this amazing arc. Like, honestly, for a comedy movie, you do think, wow, he's legitimately got to go back to Earth and fuck it up. But then you have this amazing line. I thought this was actually an amazing line where he says, like, to Connie, it's like, it's not every day a father can give his daughter the world. And I'm like, that's actually really a good line. Especially in a movie like this.
Well, yeah, it makes a lot more of a literal point than something more metaphorical about how just, you know, give you your future to make what you will of it. It's like, no, literally, I'm not going to destroy this thing.
Now, what did we think of the actual Conehead design?
The design of, like, the shape?
Yeah.
I think
The whole look.
I think it's seamless.
I think it's very accurate to a cone shape.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Like, they really put a lot of effort in. Like, you see the veins on his head.
Do you know who did the special effects to this? Like,
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I don't know. They do credit the person who does the makeup effects, but I know a legendary name that helped make the Garthok. Phil Tippett.
from, well...
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park. When he wasn't too busy making Jurassic Park, he was doing Coneheads, because these came out the same year, I do believe.
Yes.
This is the titular park, I believe, right?
Oh yeah, and there's and Jason Alexander's the titular Jurassic.
He's the whole period.
Can we just appreciate Dan Aykroyd's face during this whole entire interaction and like how he revels in his misery? Look at him go! Look at him go! Like, it's so good. Tom Arnold, here he is. What a legend. But yeah, I love the Conehead design. It's so well done. It feels like they got the right height as well. Like, you could go over the top. Like, I imagine some people out there would argue it's too much. But I think they went for the right height, especially for the different genders, too, in different ages. Like, Connie's is a lot shorter and a little bit more rounded and feminine. And her mum's is a little bit more rounded than Beldar's.
So is this Ellen DeGeneres?
Yeah, that's Ellen DeGeneres. You see the back of her head, and then you do see the front of her face. There she is.
Oh, okay.
When she had long hair. Wow.
When she had hair.
She has
before
hair.
she was out and out a lesbian too, so
Oh, before 96, that's right.
this is her film debut. No, not her film debut.
I think
This
that's
is
what the trivia said.
No, it said it was a
didn't
cameo. It was the film debut of Drew Carey.
I think it said both.
Okay, I didn't notice that. I think you mentioned it, and I love their clapping, but I think you mentioned it.
Both
and
of their
then
film debuts, yeah.
The gag that she's perfect at diving because of her head being pointed.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I noticed that because there wasn't a big splash.
Exactly, that's the whole thing. Got to make a little splash, and since her head is aerodynamic.
Yeah, for me, I remember when we were doing, this is way back, but when we were doing Deep Rescue, I made the statement there that...
For our show, The Mystery Box, which you can also check out. It's pretty rad.
Yeah, I said in that episode that for me personally, the film felt short, but I didn't like it.
Yeah.
For me, this one was the opposite. It felt long, even though it didn't even hit the 90-minute marks, but I was enjoying it all the way.
Yeah, because they jam a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, when I saw that it was like 4 minutes away from 90 minutes, I'm like, whoa, I thought this film was like a little over 2 hours, because it was just like a long journey that you were there for. Like, long literally, too, because there's a montage that passes over like 17 years or something.
Yeah, around that.
Does it feel like it's a better film because of that?
It's a film.
It's a film, yeah.
I thought that it was a great thing because it let me be, not in this universe longer, but let me like look at it longer. It just it gives you a lot of things. There's a lot of solid things in this film. And I'm enjoying this episode a lot because Ryan's computer is going insane. And like every 5 seconds, Ryan has to like click full screen again.
And Ryan's slowly going into mania because of...
No, I'm also laughing because I love that. That's such a 90s gag. I've seen that so many times where two people have no conversation and they're like, I'm glad we had that conversation. And it's such a 90s gag. Like, and I love it. I wish we brought that back more.
I wonder who that old guy is. I feel like he's famous, but I don't know who he is.
I wish I looked him up beforehand because I wonder if he's famous for playing like a sailor character because I don't know why he's got this attire. Like if they said,
a veteran or
like if they said he was in Gilligan's Island or something, I would.
That makes sense.
He's
yeah,
the skipper or something.
Oh no, he's not the skipper.
I don't know. I've only seen one episode. I can't remember names.
Skipper. No, you know who would have played a great. I've often said this. If they had to remake Gilligan's Island. There's so many things you could do, like so many people could cast. But I always thought if they did a 90s version of Gilligan's Island, like they did with the Brady Bunch and all that, you cast Brian Doyle Murray, who you know as from Wayne's World, the guy in charge of the TV station. No,
the arcade.
The arcade,
Noah's
yeah.
Arcade.
Was
Noah's
he also
Arcade.
in Christmas Vacation?
He's also in Christmas Vacation. That's his most prominent
I remember
role.
him.
And you know that voice. I can't do his voice. It's very iconically raspy, but he's Bill Murray's older brother. He would have made a great skipper. Can't you see that?
Yeah, I can
be
imagine
so good. But they didn't do that, unfortunately.
Damn.
Now, Bartek, I thought of you when watching this scene. I thought Bartek's going to appreciate the fuck out of how this scene ends. Like, how it reveals that they've been standing up the whole time. I thought of you. I reckon Bartek will appreciate this gag.
Didn't they do this gag early in the film?
Yeah,
No.
they did.
No, they didn't.
I thought they did it multiple times throughout the whole film.
They did it when they were living in the trailer.
No, but they didn't know. They showed you directly from the beginning in the trailer scene that they were standing up. This scene makes you think that they're lying, that they've adapted to it and they're lying down. Because in the trailer scene, you can clearly see that they've cut holes in the mattress.
I see what you mean. They haven't cut out the holes, but they make it seem like, maybe...
Yeah, the whole gag, you think in this scene that plays out that they're lying down and that they've adapted. And then at the end, it pans out and you see that they've actually nailed things to the wall and they're standing up.
I think perhaps if this is the first time we saw it, it would have hit me more. For me, this scene...
I don't know, I think you need the setup of they sleep standing up for it to be a good gag.
Yeah, but the reaction that I had to it was, okay, continuity. They're doing that thing again.
Okay, I just thought how they shot the scene makes it seem that they've had to adapt.
It's seamless.
Which is what the movie's about. They're adapting. He did his teeth. She did her teeth at some point.
It did throw me off, but I didn't have as strong a reaction as I could have because I was like, it was set up, so yeah.
Yeah, it's an emotional sequence nonetheless.
And they're sleeping in the lounge room, what looks like.
My computer's loving this. My computer, for those at home, is just flipping from full screen.
You're being hacked by the Coneheads.
The Coneheads. This is my favorite scene. I love all of this. His sunscreen on his nose. Just look at him. They're gonna fucking die.
God, it really is like a bucket, isn't it?
It is. It's just like a giant metal bucket, and he's just giving them this speech about fuck off. We've got our own problems.
I think when I was watching this,
look at it.
Yeah, when I was watching this scene,
they're gonna die.
Yeah, when I was watching this scene yesterday, I think my mind just concluded like, it's clearly a boat.
No,
but looking at it again,
they're in a raft, basically a metal raft.
It really looks like the top.
It's like a big metal
top
bucket.
eighth of a bucket, yeah.
He's just telling them to fuck themselves. I love it. It's because it says so much about the character. What about this? Don't you like how they give the touch that she's sunburnt from the firework?
From the fireworks, yeah.
From the firework, just the one. And that's why they don't want him on the committee for the Christmas tree lighting ceremony, which you can just imagine how that would have panned out.
It happens at the end of the film as well when they take the picture of the
Of
Connie.
Chris Farley,
Yeah.
Using like that 1948 style camera, which can I also point out one of my favorite trivia points? I don't know about you, Bartek. I hope it was your favorite trivia point, which was Narfling the Garthok is a blood sport, which is not very conely. I don't know what the fuck that trivia point was. Did Dan Aykroyd write that one? Did he put that fucking trivia point down himself?
Rhys, what do you think of that trivia point?
That's a trivia point. Now, you know what? My fiance pointed this out last night to me. She really loves this. He's talking about, like, how this is all competing for himself and appreciating the game's physics and control and all that, and he gets called out on it. But really, at the end of the day, when you find out what the trophy's for, Beldar said exactly what he was for, which was, it was the improving of a handicap in golf. It's not like winning tournaments. It's improving your skill as a golfer. Who's improved the best? So him talking about, I'm in it for the control, the effort, blah, blah, blah. He's basically saying, I'm in it for what the trophy is for. And then Jason Alexander, since he doesn't understand what he's saying, he's like, you're full of it, Conehead. You just want the trophy. So basically, that whole conversation plays out.
Oh, I think this is what made me laugh.
Oh, his nudity, where he has no buttocks. And I love the weird nodules on the back. That's the scary
It kind
part.
of makes you think, how does he do it? Like, how does he go to the
Does
best?
he?
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, too, of what's at the front.
Yeah, the cone head itself seems to be treated as a very important part of the sexual experience. So,
That's it. The touching of cones, the sensor rings, which is what I brought up in a future Mystery Box episode, which was in that movie, which you will find out involves aliens. They have a sexy thing in which they shove their fingers in their ears, and I said there's a similar thing in Coneheads in which they touch hands. With these but they use censoring. So like when Connie and Chris Farley make love, they're just touching hands and going, oh. It's very similar idea of how aliens have sex is very non-sexual. To us, it's very like impersonal. Like that's the whole point with the Conehead is they learn from the humans' emotions. They learn to care, to love, to be warm, because in their society that's not a thing. They're more cold, they're more analytical, they're more, about the patriotism of their people and kind of like putting emotions second. And this isn't like something that's hammered very hard. It's not like they're like, on our home planet, Connie, we don't have emotions. It's more like when she says, my parents have never really been into affection, so I don't know if I know how. It's just like stuff like that. And then when you go to the home planet and you see that they're very barbaric, but they're also very cultured. I love the fact that the emperor or overlord of the Conehead planet is Peter Aykroyd.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of neat that Dan let his brother be superior to him. Rhys, your favorite scene?
My favorite scene. For a minute, I was kind of like confused as to why they were wearing the costumes.
But
it explains it later.
They explained it before.
No, they explained it later.
No,
They did mention the homecoming before.
No, it's not the homecoming. It's for the...
Sorry, not the homecoming. The
golf thing. He mentions it, and then in the shower they ask him, "What's your outfit?" And he's like, "I'm not telling you, Harold." So it is set up in a scene just before. So
I must have not listened.
Don't worry, Rhys. I was the same way, but I got it eventually.
Yeah.
Don't you like that their outfits are great?
He's Abraham Lincoln, and like, what is she?
She's a lipstick.
Oh, she's a lipstick.
Did you not pick that up?
No, I didn't.
Guys, she's lipstick. So when she zips it up, she's a lipstick. And the daughter's
that's really smart.
And the daughter's a princess. So they made gags on how they would use their cones. See, look at the chips. They're stacked in this
cone.
I love everything about that. Look at the things behind them. These cone-shaped vases or ornaments.
To be honest, they do look like Jehovah's Witnesses because they are wearing the same suit.
Oh, yeah. And
I'm glad you were honest about that.
Thank you.
And the fact that they said they were Jehovah's Witnesses and Rhys is believing them.
It's smart costume design, I
Wait, is
think.
that David Spade?
Yes.
He plays two characters in this film?
One's a Jehovah's Witness, did you know?
No, hang on.
No. To give to give Rhys some defense, let's stop ragging on Rhys.
Thanks, guys.
David Spade is only one character, Bartek, who just happens to also be a Jehovah's Witness in his spare time. Michael McKean's playing two characters, so I don't know why.
One Jehovah's Witness, one not.
He must have really had a good time, acting alongside David Spade.
Now, I've just got to gush for a second about Michael McKean again. In the TV show Better Call Saul, he plays Saul Goodman's older brother, and I've always said, especially from a film like this and X-Files, that if Breaking Bad was made in the 90s, he would have played Saul Goodman, this sleazy lawyer. But in Better Call Saul, they take the brave approach of making him like his older brother, and you think, oh, he's going to be like a sleazier version. No, he's ultra straight-laced, which is great. Because Michael McKean's always playing against types and expectations of what you think of what he could do. Like, he could have been stuck down the mockumentary guy, rock and roller guy for This Is Spinal Tap, but then he goes in the opposite direction.
Yeah, he's trying to sort of break the mold of like being, that dude from Spinal Tap.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people forget he's in Spinal Tap. Heck, he's in my favorite comedy movie of all time, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. He's the policeman that doesn't allow them to drive their melted car.
Right.
That's him. And he's funny in that scene because he's so straight-laced. He is so straight-laced. Like, when they're giving their excuses and he just reacts like... and then it cuts and you see that their car's been taken away.
Would you say Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is the best John Hughes movie ever?
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Okay.
I think it's one of the best mainstream Hollywood comedy movies ever made. It's because it's smart and well written and well acted, and it's a well constructed movie with twists and turns and actually stays true to characters without sacrificing the comedy and making the comedy without sacrificing characters and story. So yeah, it's perfect John Hughes movie. I've always liked John Hughes movies that revolve around adults more, because I feel like the adults' experience is more universal than what his teen movies represent, because I was never any of those teenagers. Like, I know you guys like Breakfast Club. I fucking don't like Breakfast Club because I could never relate to any of them. I was never any of those kids.
I didn't relate to any of the movie.
I didn't relate to any of the characters in the movie.
I just don't like the movie because the movie is one of those ones that's like, you got to relate to one of these somehow.
Well, I didn't, but I still like it.
What if you related to the janitor?
Yeah, that kid.
Like Ryan said, adults in the films he likes.
Yeah, but the John Hughes teen movies have this implicit kind of, this is the teen experience, and you have some understanding of this. Like, even though you didn't feel it, it is there. That is a part of the John Hughes. That's John Hughes. This is Coneheads. The greatest Dan Aykroyd performance since Nothing But Trouble. Again, this was after Nothing But Trouble, I do believe. Right?
I believe it was 1991,
yeah.
wasn't it? So 2 years after.
Now imagine this. Dan Aykroyd got a lot of bad press for that movie, and it could have been a bold move, and it was a very bold risk for him to do another movie in which he puts his creative energy out there, but also under heavy prosthetics, again.
The Great Outdoors.
I love The Great Outdoors. That's a John Hughes-esque movie. I can't remember if he did it or he wrote it at least, but or just directed it, but that's a good one too. John Candy. Mwah. But
John Candy was in Nothing But Trouble as well.
Yes. And Planes, Trains,
As
and Automobiles.
two people, yeah.
And Dan Aykroyd, he does another movie in which there's a lot of weird, crazy ideas being thrown at the audience under heavy prosthetics again. He basically redid what could have been considered a mistake in his career. And he just didn't care. He's just like, I'm just going to do this. You could see, if you were being shrewd, Nothing But Trouble is a black mark on his career at that time. You could see why he wouldn't want to do this, because he's already been burnt once by putting out his weird energy out there underneath prosthetic makeup wonderment. But some actors and some creative people just go, no, I'm going to plow through this because I know that this is going to resonate with someone out there. I don't remember if this was a financial success, but, critical, not so much. And this movie has a 5.3, and I'm going to ask you guys, why do you think this is so low rated? Why is this an unappreciated masterpiece?
I don't know. I can't see it. I mean, maybe... I'd like to hear the Roger Ebert review, just because he's the mainstream. I think also, I read the Los Angeles Times review, and they were mostly pissed off at the fact that they didn't notice they were aliens. I don't think that's the point.
What?
Really?
Oh, yeah. They were annoyed that humans didn't obviously know they were aliens.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought for a second they were like, it was annoying to
Yeah,
us
when
that
you
we
s-
didn't figure out they were aliens.
Yeah, when you said they, it sounded like you were
Okay,
talking about them, the
I think,
reviewers.
I think that's a lame excuse. I think the comedy.
is.
I think
It
the
is.
comedy of it is that fact.
I mean, Roger Ebert's thing was specifically that like he didn't feel like the material that worked really well for the sketches, which were short, was just based around they look funny and they talk in these funny voices. So for a few minutes that is funny doesn't work in almost 90 minutes.
I think they do more than that, Roger. I think they're more than just looking funny and funny voices. I think they have very well thought out nuances. They think of the alien society and culture and how they would interact in certain circumstances, but also understand that they also have to shed that away for the fact that these characters have lived on Earth for 7 zerls.
Yeah, I guess one thing we might have to keep in mind is a lot of people before they do watch a film do one way or another see the poster, and the poster does show what the Coneheads look like.
Yeah,
Perhaps
sexy.
Yeah, perhaps the look doesn't appeal to some people. Maybe it makes them feel uncomfortable because it looks weird, maybe that would turn them away from the film. So, I mean, that's looking at this as a low-rated film from the angle of people not wanting to watch it. But if we're assuming that the rating comes purely from people who do see the film, then I really don't know what's wrong with them, because I think this is a completely solid film. And, I love Nothing But Trouble as well. That's also an unappreciated masterpiece, but I think as a comedy for a mainstream audience, this works a lot better than that film.
Yeah, and this one balances its tone and genre a lot better. Not saying that Nothing But Trouble isn't great. I defend that movie wholeheartedly. But this one is more of a easier pill to swallow for a mainstream audience, like you said. So I don't understand why it has a 5.3. It's considered one of the examples of a bad SNL movie, when I think a lot of effort's put in. I mean, this obviously, if we didn't have this, people, we wouldn't have had the TV show Third Rock from the Sun, which is one that's critically acclaimed and people enjoy. So I think people also need to look at the roots of the roots, because
Would you say that SNL movies are like a punching bag? They're always like, it's always hip to be like,
I don't know.
it's always hip to hate a SNL movie.
But then some of the best comedy movies of the 90s and late 80s were SNL movies, Blues Brothers and Wayne's World being examples.
I love those films.
That I can think of, and everyone loved those, even Wayne's World 2.
I do hear sometimes comedians making like these like non sequitur jokes, like, "Oh, this is like a bad SNL movie." I haven't seen too many of them, and I can't really identify them immediately. But again, the ones that I've seen that I'm aware of, four, because there are 2 Wayne's World films, and this one and Blues Brothers, I've loved all 4 of them.
And I'm sure there's more out there that we're just blanking on off the top of our head that are also SNL movies. But like, yeah, it's a confusing one sometimes. Like, I get it, there are some bad ones out there, or ones that they chose characters to have movies where you went, why them? Like, It's Pat, the movie.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. But It's Pat, the whole gag was they don't know if it's a man or a woman. And that was the gag, and they're like, let's do a whole movie of that. At least with the Coneheads, there's a whole thing going on. These aliens living amongst the humans. And Wayne's World is one of those ones where I questioned it. Like, you could question it, because Wayne's World was just them doing their shitty show, and they were just like time capsule characters. They were very young guys of the late 80s, early 90s. So you could see that being one that could fail a lot. And Blues Brothers, well, they're just guys who do music, and they were originally just background characters because they were Men in Black characters. That's why they look like that. So you could also understand, but like, why that could have been questionable. But like, I don't know. I think the filmmaking and stuff outweighs the foundation of them being sketch characters.
I guess what you're trying to say, Ryan, is that a lot of people are just narrow-minded.
Yeah, and they're Coneheads.
Well, from what we're learning, that's more of a compliment than an insult. So they're not Coneheads; they're normal heads.
Well, no, the Conehead Society
Blunt Skulls
are bad.
That is true.
They're very narrow-minded.
But the Coneheads family...
The Conehead family, different. Yeah. I can't remember. Is it actually explicitly said that the species is called Coneheads?
I don't know, which is why I was kind of weirded out. But that's why I was referring to the last name, Conehead.
They addressed the human race as blunt skulls.
Oh yeah, they're blunt skulls.
You're a blunt skull.
Oh, thank you.
Remulac. Remulac. What a name of a planet.
Wow, this
Remulac.
planet is so weird. It's making your video player spaz out, Ryan.
I love this guy. Can we also appreciate that on the Conehead planet, you can have a job as guy in silky thing that jumps up and down in the air? Did you notice that?
I would love that so much.
There's people inside of those.
There's a lot of mise-en-scene on this planet.
There's people inside of those, and they take things from you. I love that.
How do we know it's not a job and not like a punishment?
It looks like a job. Look at them. That's their job. They do that every day.
There's so much fun mise-en-scene in this film, and people have made it an unappreciated masterpiece, I swear.
And I love the fact that their outfits are awesome. I want a Conehead outfit, don't you?
I don't want that head though. Like the one when you get older as a Conehead, it just sort of like flops.
It curls.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Okay, Rhys, we get it. You're gonna die young. Okay, we get
Oh, thank. Yeah, at least I don't. Look,
Oh,
it
you're
freaks.
right,
It
yeah.
freaks me out a little bit.
it. Poor Rhys.
I know.
Maybe he did too big of a headbutt. I like the physiology of the Coneheads. Like they make a big point that they have electricity in their heads or some kind of electromagnetic abilities. They, their ability to suck things in quickly, like the ability to swallow and eat things, but also they can hoover up things, and the 3 rows of teeth that they have, and whatever the fuck their genitals have got going on.
I'm sure if we had like an expanded universe for the Coneheads,
Dude, do you think Dan Aykroyd hasn't made some kind of medical book yet?
that's the thing. It's like we have to see it somehow. Like, how do their lungs work? Is there a suction function or something?
Suction function.
Oh, they could be. They could. They have sacks. They mentioned that they have a sack of some kind. I love this shot.
What is this?
It's very artistic. That shot. Look
Is
at
that-
Phil Hartman's face. He's just like.
And
And
then, like,
survive
the
amongst the
one-
skulls.
The one gift that he's actually happy with is this thing. It's the
It's a
condom.
condom. This thing. I like how Rhys had to acknowledge what it was because I was going to call him out so hard if he didn't know what
This
a condom
odd little red disc.
Oh, you mean gum?
Yeah, gum. That's what he calls it in the film.
I
so
do
that's
love
what it
you
is.
didn't know it was going to be a setup to a payoff. The gum gag. It helps him. And then he gets fucked over by the fact he did his teeth, which, did you think that was going to be a setup to a payoff?
Not at all. In fact, I had to remember the John Lovitz scene.
Oh, really? That's also one of my favourite scenes is John Lovitz.
Oh, it's not that I forgot it because it was,
but you didn't think it was going to
forgettable.
be something that would tie in
No,
to
I
the
didn't.
rest.
And also, again, the film felt long, so there was like a lot of scenes to pass through.
Did you know that they tried to make an animated TV series of the Coneheads? And
Really?
You
did
can
read
watch the
something about
pilot
that.
on YouTube.
Is it any good?
It's okay. I would have rather a live action one. Because it's that kind of SNL animation when they do animated gags. I don't like their style.
I guess with animation, you can do so much. So, like, you're just making characters
Yeah.
these cone heads. But with live action, though, you actually see it.
Yeah, I guess it's a lot harder. But I don't know. I think there's more humor. So she played the original Connie, this actress here. She
Oh.
was the original Connie because they started in 1975. So by the time they got around to it in the 90s, she wasn't old enough.
Yeah, it
she
was
was too
like
old.
18, 17 years later.
Yeah. I mean, let's put this in
Now,
perspective.
Rhys-
The actress who played Connie in this was born in 1970, so when they first started, she was 5 years old.
Now, Rhys, I want you to pay attention to the monster in this scene and notice that it is not very conely.
It's not very cool.
No, the fact that it's a blood sport is not very conely.
Oh, sorry, not the monster. The fact that it's a blood sport is not very conely.
That's a trivia fact. No,
You know what? I also love the noises that it makes.
The Garthok.
Yeah.
That
at
exact
all.
noise.
It is so different to what you think it would sound like. But it's not too distractingly different. It's not like it comes out like, oh, this is distracting. Here's Tim Meadows. He's a big SNL guy that we know from many things. But yeah, off he goes to die. by Tim Meadows. He was in Mean Girls.
Oh yeah, he played the principal, didn't he?
Principal? Yeah, I want to say he was the principal. Yeah, principal. And he had, like, tuberculosis or something, and he had his arm in a cast. This guy. But yeah, the Garthok, here's the thing. Isn't it great that stop-motion animation is used for this creature instead of CGI? Because this thing has aged better than a CGI, than Doomsday in Batman v Superman, which came out 2 years ago. Don't you think that this thing looks like it's actually there
It makes me feel nostalgic.
for stop-motion?
Yeah, and it also reminds me there was a commercial back, I think, at this time or a bit
Called
later.
Nah for the Garthok?
No, there was it was like I can't remember what the product was. I think it was like some sort of chocolate yogurt with a gorilla and a snake.
Oh, I know the one.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but
Go-Gurt.
was it Go-Gurt?
That's the one with the gorilla.
Okay, yeah, I guess it was a Go-Gurt commercial, and they were like on a spy mission or something.
Okay. And then that's stop-motion.
I can't remember if it was stop motion or if it was just animated, but the movements just reminded me of it.
Don't you like when it started to choke to death, it pulled on its collar? Or the fingers in that poo. There was nothing, but it was filled with fingers. That's a neat gag.
I was surprised that the poo is actually that small from that beast.
It might have been done a little poo-poo.
Oh, he has a good diet.
I like how it sees in red, and since it has red eyes.
It secretly is the predator.
It's Predator.
Predator.
The character data from Star Trek? Or...
No, Predator.
Predator.
Oh, Predator. Yeah.
Predator doesn't see in red anyway. He sees in heat vision, which is primarily blue with yellow and red.
Heat signature.
What did you think of his singing?
Who, Beldar?
Yeah.
In the end credit. Oh, this scene, you mean?
Yeah, he's saying this scene.
Sometimes I feel like I've got to run away from the
Tainted love.
things you try. I love. It's a song. It's very popular on Earth, and like the women are like, yeah,
We can dig it.
we could dig it. I love the Garthok. How cute is it? Like it's got so many expressions and so many things on it, like
and all the
piercings. And look, he uses golf to win. He uses something he learned from Earth to succeed in the end. That's called a film, people. Remember when comedies had scripts and they had actual payoffs to the setups instead of nothing but just endless one-liners that lead to nothing?
when I show off skills that I've learned, I call it a film.
It's
What was the last film you committed to, Bartek?
Oh, earlier this year, Rhys, I don't know if you know this, but I beat Minesweeper and Expert.
Oh, well.
He was real fucking proud.
I really was.
I love how they clap with their wrists. so many things going on this alien. Look at them. Poor Peter Aykroyd. He's just like, what did you think about how David Spade gets to live?
He gets to live still doing the thing that he always does.
Just like being the Weasel's like, he's not in the good mood
Which
today.
is great.
It also gives you this idea of like he's not really attached to
Anyone?
to his superior. He's just like
Oh no, I never thought he was.
he'll just with anyone.
He's a leech.
Yeah. I guess you did compare him to Smithers, but I guess he's not that Smithers.
No. Smithers is also just a thing you use for sidekicks that are underlings, I guess. You know what his last name is? His name is Eli, but you want to guess what his last name is?
I did read it, but I cannot remember
Rhys,
what it was.
you've seen it 1,000 times. His
I don't
last
know,
name's
is it-
Turnbull.
Eli Turnbull.
Yeah. It's
I-
great
I-
because we had a
well, I
prime
don't get it.
minister.
Why is that funny, guys?
Because we had a prime minister named Malcolm Turnbull who was a sleazy little man.
Little.
Well, I don't know how tall Malcolm Turnbull is. Do you?
Have you not seen him? He's as tall as the Eureka Tower. He's giant, dude.
Is he?
Dude, he's...
I know he's not as tall as that, but how tall is Malcolm
I don't
Turnbull?
know.
Rhys
I was
reacted
just
like
making-
I was insane for saying Malcolm Turnbull's a little man.
He's as tall as
just
the Eureka Tower.
Well, Ryan, did you know he's taller than Sinbad? Who has
No
already
one is taller than
established
Sinbad.
He's no human.
No, he's the same size as the Eureka Tower plus Sinbad.
I love this. I just love David Spade's Weasley little voice. Thank you. He's just that little poncy way he handed that to him. He's just such a little weasel.
And eventually it would lead to Dickie Roberts' former child star.
Exactly, where he played a little Weasley man in that too. Is this? Have we not had David Spade appear since then, or have
Of course we have.
Yeah.
I'm blanking.
Grown-ups.
No, he's talking about on Unappreciated Masterpieces.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, don't cringe at that, Ryan. You know what you're talking about.
I just made it very clear.
Ryan, he was your favourite character.
I like how he went to grown-ups.
He was one of your favourite characters in that film. And
Grown
he was
Ups.
partnered with someone else.
Oh, Racing Stripes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
A voice.
He was a fly.
A voice with
Ebony and Ivory.
with Steve Harvey,
Yes.
and Snoop Dogg was a dog.
And Jeff Foxworthy was a rooster.
You know, that was also a film where everyone was in it, so we can just keep going.
Frankie Muniz.
Frankie Muniz was in that?
Yeah. Dustin
Holy
Hoffman.
shit! Was Dustin Hoffman really in it though?
Whoopi Goldberg.
But I got to ask you this question: was Dan Aykroyd in it? Then it wasn't a real movie, was it? No, it was 100th episode.
Well,
This shot was great. By
They
the way.
didn't use any skills that they learned on Earth.
But yeah, this film has everything. Like I just want to give some praise. Connie was a good character, well acted. I mean, you know, I reckon a lot of people who do cover this skip over her, but she did a really good job of blending being human, but also being raised with these alien ideals and values. Like she did a good job. She was convincing as like an in between of two things. Like it wasn't like she lent too much into being a '90s girl. And she didn't lean enough on being an alien girl, but it's not like she did it the other way around.
And even for a teen girl character, she wasn't the insufferable type.
Yeah, exactly. She wasn't
She was
like...
rather sweet, in fact.
Yeah, and you actually like her.
Yeah, like even when, you know, we were having fun with the whole, like, oh, we didn't actually talk thing, but in that shot, in that scene, it was, you know, kind of tender, even though they didn't really talk.
Yeah, and you know, Chris Farley was good in this as, you know, everyone's great in this. Like, oh, his life sunk. The Earth weapons have silenced him. Oh, Phil Hartman, we miss you.
Yeah.
There was a line he delivered in this where it sounded exactly like Troy McClure. There was a line when he was just like, he had to change his teeth for he had to adapt, but he said it in that Troy McClure way. It was like, you may know me from... And he's like, he had to adapt. And I'm like, oh, we miss you, Phil Hartman. It's so upsetting what happened to him. But it's just like, it's great to have what he left behind. Same with Chris Farley. You know, there's, you know, things like that in these movies where it's like, you know, there are people who aren't with us anymore or aren't in the limelight, but their talent still remains in the work that they've left behind. And all the work that they will create in the future, because I haven't seen Dan Aykroyd in anything recently. I mean, he was in the new Ghostbusters movie as cab driver, but like, you know,
He was a cab driver in this for a while.
that's why I
Yeah.
find it funny.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a reference.
Did he wear a turban?
No, he did wear a flap cap. So he did wear a hat. Now, Rhys, did you know that he actually exchanges exactly 55 words with him?
I thought it would have been like either on the dot or just
It's on the dot.
on the...
You know what? When he started, I was actually going to count it, but I stopped because I thought, you know what? This film's so clever. I'm sure that they said 55, and the trivia said that they did.
And you gotta love the fact that it's Dan Aykroyd saying it in the Dan Aykroyd voice.
And it's
that
all
he's
one
doing.
shot, like, because you can get
Yeah.
like one big paragraph in one go.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and again, they speak so... The Coneheads speak so quickly.
fast and
so...
articulate as well.
Yeah.
They're not mumblers.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, a lot of gags from those original skits obviously transferred into this, like when Steve Martin plays the immigration guy, he calls him Mr. Conehead, and he's like, Conehead!
You couldn't imagine Robert De Niro as a Conehead, I think.
No, I reckon he would be the leader. Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro, that's where he went. Yeah, you're right. I can't imagine Robert De Niro. But then again, he was also in The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, and I didn't imagine him to be the first method actor to play a cartoon. So, Robert De Niro actually...
Cartoon character, yeah.
Cartoon character. Robert De Niro, I actually can see being a Conehead.
Well,
at
he
this
did
rate.
play a character called Fearless Leader, and the leader in this film was rather fearless.
If he truly was fearless, he would have just still keep invading Earth.
Invade, 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 invade.
Now, don't you like this final shot in which you see there's a chunk out of the moon?
Yeah. It's a nice ending to the film.
Like the moon
Like-
looks like it's screaming in shock. It's like, what?
That's good. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I thought of that yesterday. when
But
I was watching
yeah, I forgot about the song. Like I just kept the credits playing because I was looking at like who was in the movie just to remind myself of how
I was-
everyone's in this, guys.
it. Oh yeah, David Spade's just Turnbull, according to the credits.
It's just Turnbull. Even though they call him Eli throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, so I do the thing where I skipped ahead in the credits just to see if there was a scene or anything, but I happened to skip at the exact point where the second song started.
Can we, before we get into reviews and ratings, talk about Hone Your Cone Alone and how great it is?
I want to get down to the bottom of it. Who actually sings the song? Like,
Because that was, I think, we were talking
Unfortunately,
about before the episode.
song listing is like right near the end of the credits.
it's really confusing.
So apparently, there's controversy of is it Dan Aykroyd singing or is it Peter Aykroyd singing as
I'm pretty
Belda?
sure it said performed by what's her face and Peter Aykroyd.
Jane Curtin.
Yeah, Jane Curtin and Peter.
I would
Aykroyd.
say it's Dan Aykroyd. Sounds exactly like him. I know they're brothers, but like he also knows how to sing. He's a musician. I mean, he's a blues brother.
Yeah, he sang "Tainted Love" in this. It's very much like it wasn't doing the exaggerated Asian thing, but it was very much a Master Payne Betty thing from Compel.
My name is Betty.
Towel.
I am Beldar, but much slower as well. Yeah.
I love just the noises they make, like or like you said, when she does the scream.
Or when they have like sex.
And sounds like cats. Cats and dolphins. That's what it sounds like to me. So the song Hone Your Cone Alone, definitely one I'll be adding to the mix of songs in my repertoire. I just love how weird it is and how it is like, why is this here? Why did they do this?
Yeah, it wasn't more like a played straight thing like in Centrinians, where it's like, oh, two characters singing an actual like love song.
In this, it's just in the end credits.
In this, it's actually a comedy thing. Shotgun caterers.
So I'm gonna get into my review and rating.
Ryan,
Anyway,
could you please get into your review and rating?
I love this movie. Don't love my computer right now. It's being a dick. But this movie is a real gem. A lot of people have snoozed on this one, and I don't understand why. It's a great little sci-fi comedy, because that's the thing too. It really does focus on those sci-fi aspects of things. The alien technology, culture, aesthetics, and all of that stuff, whilst also blending in that comedy element. If you're a big fan of Third Rock from the Sun, and you kind of want to see if you want to see the origins of where that show came from, you definitely should check out this movie. I know we've talked about it, and we've talked about the best bits, but viewing it for yourself is an experience if you've somehow missed out on it. It's a great film, something that deserves more than a 5.3 out of 10. Hence, my rating is going to be a 5.3 out of 5. Just for spite. Rhys, what's your review and rating?
Well,
It's going to be the bottom right-most song.
should we wait, or should I just quickly do my review?
Quickly give us.
Okay,
so
so
I can
like,
read and
I
listen.
can think that I agree. I can agree with you, Ryan.
Thank you.
This film is really, it's really harshly looked down upon, and I think there's a couple of things we can actually learn from this film. The fact that they had Coneheads and they are aliens, but the humans that surrounded them didn't care. Like, they thought, oh, it's just a normality, so what? I think maybe that could be something, that you could take on as a human yourself. That's something to learn. I think that criticism was a bit just outrageous. So, and in terms, like, the performances are there as well. Like, and the mise-en-scene, as you said, Ryan, and also the sci-fi aspect and the drama mise-en-scene. Yeah, I give this a nice, lovely, settling 3.5 out of 5.
Fair enough. Thank you. The credits did say what Rhys said, which was they credited Beldar and Primat for being the singers, which it means it's Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin, people.
Yeah. I could argue that we were both wrong, but yeah, you were right.
Yep, fair enough. Let's hear from you, Bartek, and then you're going to be sharing some opinions that people had on the internet.
Yes,
Is that correct?
I've got a couple of comments, and I picked 2 shorter IMDb reviews.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I had a great time with Coneheads. I loved the fact that it felt longer than it was, because usually that implies, badness, but this time it was very goodness. I enjoyed it. I thought that it was incredibly, you've used this word, guys, but clever. It had great mise-en-scene, great writing. I don't know what Roger Ebert thought didn't work. I mean, on a literal sense, I know because I read the review, but I don't understand it. This film, I just think, can't fail. But having said that, in terms of being remembered throughout time, so far it has failed. But I think that's, again, like we always talk about on this show, that's more of a fault of, whether we know it or not, our human society. Maybe if we were all, we had brains that were big enough to fit inside let's say, a cone-shaped head, we'd be able to understand it a lot more. The fact that this story is not just about aliens, but it can be considered a metaphor for a family emigrating from another country to a, big populated one that has a thing about immigration. And that's just the clever stuff. But even on the surface level dumb stuff, like the dumb voices, I say dumb, but silly voices, whether it be of the Coneheads or of the monster, or of, sorry, I'm fighting off a sneeze, but it's gone now.
You naffled it.
Naffled the stage.
Ding ding correct.
Dinka dinka.
I love this film. I can say way, way, way more about it, but we've got, people on the internet that want to say words, so I'm going to end my review by giving this a rating of a ding ding correct out of I love you.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
So what did the internet have to say? So you've gathered it from where? YouTube?
Yes, there were a couple of uploads of the trailer on YouTube, and I'd just like to give a quick shout out to whoever uploaded the version that had the most views, over 900,000 views on this trailer.
Excellent.
And comments disabled, so thank you for that, guys. So I've gathered the comments from the barely watched ones.
Oh, man.
Go on.
Ryan's incapacitated.
Is that the joke of the year?
You delivered that so well. It was your delivery of that. You sound genuinely annoyed.
It's happened before, Ryan, but this time I'm calling it out. Trust me, it's happened a lot.
It's nearly 1 million views, you fucks.
You don't think 1 million people wanted to comment on that? Jesus. The first comment is, just imagine if I had a Conehead as my neighbor. I would freak out.
Wow.
Can you imagine if they, not you, Ryan, they...
Yeah, I would imagine if they would have it, they would freak out.
Yeah. The next comment is, classic movie. If you're considering downloading this, please follow through with the decision. It's fucking Amazon.
What, was that written by a Borat or something?
Fucking without the C, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Fucking.
Coneheads are like the best humanoid-looking aliens ever. Great movie. Too bad haters hate it more.
I hate haters.
Sorry, Taylor Swift.
I hate that haters hate.
I hate hating.
Shake it off.
The next comment is the most predictable comment ever because it has a response. And the response is the predictable part. These trailers sound like they're made for stupid Americans.
Oh!
And the response is, USA rules, bitch. Now remove your foul presence from my internet.
Michael McKean, seedling character, wrote that. I know he did.
Yep. And the last comment is, wee hee hee irk.
Okay, Dan,
Asterisk.
Dan, enough Crystal Skull vodka for you tonight. So you have something from IMDb?
I have two somethings.
Hit us in the loins.
Imidibidis.
Hit us in the... They had some word for their genitals. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
He'll cut off my plug and hand it to me.
Ryan, they had an entire encyclopedic vernacular. I don't think we can blame you for not knowing one word. The first review that I've gathered is titled, and you'll pretty much know where this is going from the title, Mocks Christianity in Offensive Way.
What?
From 11 March 2015.
Can I interrupt for a sec? This
1 out of
reminds me
10.
of another trivia point, which was that the French did not appreciate the fact that the
Yeah!
Coneheads tried to use their alias as being French and demanded that any references to that be removed from the film. Their demands were declined. Go on about
was
the Christian
great.
stuff.
Yeah. So mocks Christianity in Offensive Way from the 11th of March 2015. 1 out of 10.
Oh, that's the review. I thought that was the title.
That is the title.
Yes,
Oh, that's the title and the comment.
No.
Reese, I haven't even started the review.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That was the title, the date it was uploaded, and the rating.
Okay, go on.
This is the review
Okay,
itself.
ready for the review. Go for it.
Ready Player One.
And it starts on a lowercase letter, so just letting you know. Poor rendition of the original, but just a couple days ago for the first time, I saw something. They get a motel. Kramer is the hotel clerk. Okay, there is hope for the movie. Then in the room, Jane Curtin reads a Bible and laughs.
Maniacal.
It goes back to her laughing a few times to drill the point home. The point they make is that the Bible is fantasy such that she finds it very funny. The point is it's a book of lies according to Jane and the movie's producers. It was extremely offensive to have this in there. A lot of ways they could have handled the motel Bible concept. They chose the worst to mock all of Christianity, calling out all Christians deluded fools following the Bible. A book of lies according to Jane Curtin and the movie's producers. It made me want to look at her and say, Jane, you ignorant slut. The end of the review.
How Christian of them. Jane, you ignorant slut.
And it doesn't end on like an exclamation, right? It ends on a dot.
I can't wait for them to get up to the Jehovah's Witness scene.
God.
Oh, brother. Okay, hit us with your second one. That was perfect. That was a perfect one. Jane, you ignorant slut. What is this, The Office?
And it ends on a dot. So it's Jane, you ignorant slut.
And they've got more to say, but they're waiting.
The next review is titled, I Really Love Coneheads and the Great Comedy Cast. It is from the 24th of June, 2018.
Ooh, Rhys, you wrote one, huh?
And it is a 7 out of 10 review.
Rhys.
Well,
But from what I recall, this one really felt like a 10 out of 10 one.
Rhys, just don't pussy out and give it a 10.
what?
You wrote this review.
And it has a warning for spoilers.
Spoilers alert.
Hey, at least I gave the people some spoilers.
And it starts on a bracketed statement, so open brackets, super long reviews turn super short, close bracket. Coneheads has tons of hilarious people, PPL, in it. I love it. It's one of my very best... Sorry. It's one of my very most favorite comedies. It's hilarious, so funny. I love everyone in it. Dan and Michelle Burke is so hot, honestly, with her Conehead
Dan
and all.
is hot too?
Dan and Michelle Burke is so hot, honestly, with her Conehead and all. Full stop. First full stop. When I first saw this as a kid, I grew a giant Conehead-sized crush on Michelle. She was in Dazed and Confused
She was.
and Major League
Baseball.
2.
Oh, not even the first one. Okay.
I love her. OMG, she is so beautiful in this. And so hot esp when she's diving. What a beautiful dive. The next paragraph is all in bracket.
Oh, so this is like setting up the scene.
Open bracket. Sinbad, Hartman, Spade, Farley is great in this.
Yeah.
McKean is really good in this.
Oh, not great. Okay, fine.
I'll say it if no one else will. Beautiful Jane Curtin and Dan are great. Eddie Kramer, the Sandman. God, I love him. Drew Carey.
Wait,
God,
wait. Can we go back to that?
Yeah.
The Sandman? Oh, Sandler.
Sandler.
Okay. I was like, who's the Sandman? Enter the Sandman. Okay, so
You
they
should've-
don't like... Who, sorry?
God love him. Drew Carey, God, I hate him. JK, not really, but kinda, but not really, but kinda, but not really, lol. Pat! George Costanza, George Costanza, JLA, Parker Posey, OMG, so sweet, Kevin Nealon, and Jan, close bracket.
Oh, it's Hooks. Her name is Jane Hooks. I know who they're talking about. It's okay. I'll let that one slide, Rhys.
A Flinder! Lol, Belda is great! The lawnmower scene is hilarious, just like when Belda lights the fireworks, and I love how the Coneheads get down. The Coneheads growing up montage clip is very good. Very good signing with both capitals. Greatest comedy cast ever! This is an infinite classic.
Well done.
Infinite?
I did a good
Not
job.
an instant. It's
Infinite.
an infinite classic.
Which, honestly, that sounds better than it
It
is.
sounds threatening. So, Bartek, thank you for that. Rhys, as always,
It
a
was the
pleasure
Oh, thank
to
you.
have you on the show. People at home, you've been wonderful, amazing listening people. If you've suffered through this with us, because I say suffer because my computer's giving me epilepsy.
Yeah, so you probably haven't suffered.
No, you're just hearing me
I got a bit queasy
internally
at one point.
going, fuck. No, you guys have been amazing, fantastic, wonderful listening people. You can find us on multiple platforms. We are on the Podbean, the Spotify, the Google Play, the YouTube. We even have the iTunes where you can give us a rating and review. That's always helpful.
And I noticed that I think on Facebook pages you can also give us a rating. and
Yeah,
review.
sure. We have a Facebook page. You know, you can drop a suggestion of a film we could cover there, or you could give us an email. What's our email?
It is spitandpolished, like the past tense of polish, at gmail.com.
So you can give us a suggestion, some feedback, some comments, or just an email. Just say, hey, ho, hi there. As always, you have been fantastic. Rhys, thank you so much for watching this 1,001 times.
Oh, well.
And Rhys, what's our email?
What?
Do you remember?
No.
He wasn't listening. He was too busy drooling and looking at a colourful light.
The email is
Go on. We literally just said it.
Spit and polish.
No.
Damn it.
Spit and polished at
I'll spit and
gmail.com.
polish at hotmail.com.
No.
Gmail.com.
Gmail.
Fuck off, Rhys. Alright, till next time, guys, remember to be kind to each other, and my computer, stop being a fuckboy.
But I thought I was the fuckboy.
Okay, then stop then.
Oh.
Weren't you saying Chris Farley was a fuckboy?
He was a fuckboy in this, wasn't he?
What exactly is a fuckboy?
Well,
A
dude,
boy that fucks.
we'll have to get into that in our next episode, where we cover
I just said it.
Fuckboy, the musical.
It's a boy that fucks.
Is it that simple?
Yes.
It's more than that, but we'll get into it. Next episode! To be continued, fuckboys!
Are we going to do one at a time?
Oh yeah, you want to do that? I forget about that.
What?
Oh, so every time we have Rhys on, we do a word at a time
Oh,
story.
I forgot about that. Okay.
We can do that. You start, Bartek, and we'll go to Rhys and then me.
Alright.
Alright, we'll start a bit unusually. When
I
Was
a
tiny
boy
I
was
very
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 happy
with
my
penis.
it
jangled.
Come on, Ryan, say when.
Say the next line. No, stop laughing. Say the next line. No, we've got to continue this. Say the next word. Damn it.
Jangled. That's what he went with.
Yeah.
He could have had any option. He has a penis himself, and he thought, you know what's the right adjective here?
You know, Ryan,
Jangle.
you're laughing, but we
It
haven't...
jangles like keys.
Ryan, you're laughing, but we haven't finished the sentence yet.
And
It tickled.
oh, fuck off.